Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Get your drinks and your red cup. I love a drink. So today we're going to do a story time, and this is basically about my 2016, which from what I remember it was everyone's shit year. Like nobody had a good 2016. Maybe someone did. Did Cardi B have it? Is that when Cardi B started? Cardi B had a good 2016, but us in the real world, we didn't have a great 2016. So I'll start it off with, basically in March, I broke up with my long-term partner. Quite a few reasons, not gonna go into it, but it wasn't an overnight decision. We just ended things and it was fine. April came around now, April 1st, April Fools, and I'm going on my Snap, which I'm gonna put down there. I'm going through my Snap and I'm seeing people snap, RIP user, RIP Sosa, and I'm thinking, nah, like there's only one user / Sosa that I know. But then, you know, everyone kind of got the same tags these days or back then, so I didn't think it was the person that I knew. But then I'm going through other people snapping, I'm thinking, right, like the people who are snapping it know him and know me, so it cannot be a coincidence. I'm like, I need to call someone. So I called my friend who is like a brother to me, he's more of a brother to me than my own brother. I called him and he was like, sis, I'm so sorry, I wanted you to hear it from me first, but user's dead. And I said, nah, you're chatting shit, like it's April Fool's, what kind of sick joke is that? He's like, sis, I'm being dead serious, like user's not around anymore. I just remembered the phone dropping out my hand and me crying, like bawling. I didn't know what to do. I was at my mum's house and I just knew that I needed to get out and go somewhere. So I got in my car and I called my ex now, and he said, go home, I'll meet you there. So I'm crying, like in the car, crying, screaming. I don't even know how I got from my mum's to mine. It could only be God, because I don't remember even my eyes being on the road like that. So I come home now and see the messages are coming in that he's passed away, and I've messaged him on WhatsApp like, what's going on, why is everyone saying RIP, like where are you, blood? Like bare messaging him and getting no response. And it hit me like my friend's gone, and this was my best friend. Like again, this is somebody else who was like a brother to me. He was unfortunately incarcerated, and even when he was incarcerated, like he used to look after me, he used to top me up with petrol money, like just call me a neek. He was the only one that could cuss me out and I would allow it. But that was our relationship. Unfortunately, he got stabbed inside prison. Horrible story, so I won't even get into it because I want to remind myself of what happened. But basically, kind of from then, my life kind of just spiraled downwards, up and down, to be honest. That night I went to go buy a bottle of Hennessy, and I just remember drinking the next day, the next morning, next day, next evening, next day. It was horrible. These times I'm still going to work. So his funeral comes now, which was Friday, May the 13th. Me and Friday 13th don't get along anymore. Like before, it just used to be like, who cares, Friday 13th, I'm a Christian, I don't believe in all of that stuff. I still don't, but it's just like, it's a bit bittersweet for me. So that was the day of his funeral, and I was due to say a speech, which I did. Obviously, like I said, he's my best friend, so whichever way I can honour him and remember him, I will, and I did. Funeral finished, the service happened, and then it was finished. So all of us, me and friends, decided to go to the pub and cheers to his name. So we've got the drinks in now, about to sit down, and I've seen that I've got a missed call from my cousin. This isn't a cousin that I speak to a lot, so I didn't call back. Then she called me back, I answered, and she's like, Uncle Frank's dead. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, what the fuck's going on? Like, I just buried my best friend. She's like, Uncle Frank's dead. Again, phone dropped out my hand and I dropped to the ground. I can't remember what happened after that, but I remember my friend saying that they had to put me in the car. I was screaming, crying, and I can't remember what was even going through my mind. The sad thing is, me and my mum were arguing that week. And if you know me, like, the silent treatment I can give is disgusting. The silent treatment my mum could give is even worse. He is my mother's only brother. My mum is the oldest. She brought him over from Ghana. About 13 years he's been with us. He's lived with us. Like, I can tell you so many stories about him. He's so overprotective because he is the only boy. Like, sometimes he can get a bit mad. But actually, this flat I'm sitting in, he actually decorated for me. Anyways, I've got home now. My mum's just sitting down, just quiet. And then my aunties come round, and it's so sad. Now, as Africans, we do a 1 week. So obviously the 1 week came, and you just see everybody breaking down in different ways, different times. And it's just my heart, like, seeing my mum go through that pain, seeing my family go through that pain, it was disgusting. During all of this, I was still going to work 9 to 6, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. And I would put myself in work, like work, that sometimes I wouldn't even eat. Like, it wouldn't even occur to me that I haven't eaten. So I'd get home and then I'd eat something and then repeat the same steps. My manager was pregnant at this time. She was due to go on maternity leave, and the position for manager was open. So she had actually put me up to get an interview. The regional manager then called me. I had my interview. Interview was about 25-30 minutes, like, and it weren't even like a proper interview. Like, we were just chatting about life. And at the end of the interview, he sat back and he was like, you know, you got the job, right? And I was like, what? He was like, why would I give it to somebody else? Like, you've been with the store since the place opened. I was like, oh, great. Bit of good news I'm gonna tell my family. So I had to tell my mum, my aunties, like, they were so excited. Like, now they even call me manager, like, they don't even call me by name anymore. But they were so proud of me. I was so proud of me. It was, you know, good news after what had just happened. So fast forward a little bit to July, my uncle's funeral. Again, this is my only uncle. He's done so much for me. Like I said, he's lived with me, my mum, my sister. So I've got stories about him to tell. So I said a speech at the wedding. It was very difficult, but I managed to pull through. The wonderful thing about his funeral was, you know, when the grave diggers come back to put the soil, the mud back in the grave, his friends were like, no, we'll do it. Digging up the grave, digging up the mud, putting it in the grave, that really sat in my heart. There was a bit of drama at the funeral, but I will not get into details because that is another issue. Funeral's done now. Like, I never want to see my mother in that position again. It was the most horrible thing I've ever had to witness. I don't want her to go through that again. I don't want to see her go through that again, because my mum's like Superwoman to me. So seeing her that week, it was horrible. Anyways, now August comes and my brother's getting married. Like, my blood brother, he's getting married, and I am a bridesmaid. Again, after a difficult few months, something to look forward to. I'm bridesmaid, so I've gone for my bridesmaid dress fitting on a Monday. Tight fitted dress. At this time I was wearing my waist trainer. I do pole dancing for exercise purposes, so I'm quite fit, I like to think. The dress was tight, done, dusted. On the Thursday now, I've gone into hospital because my back is killing me and I don't know why. Like, I've taken painkillers, used a hot water bottle, nothing's working, so I've taken myself to hospital and they've done their test and the nurse is like, you're pregnant. I'm like, huh? She's like,
you're pregnant.
I said, no, I'm not. She said, you are. I said, no, I'm not. You need to do it again. She looked at me like, this girl's crazy. I was like, no, you need to do it again. She was like, okay. She's done it again. She come back. She's like, you're pregnant, like I said. I was like, no, you're lying, like I said. And she was like, you really didn't know? I was like, do I look like someone that knew? I was on contraception. I've been on the same contraception for years. The injection, the Defo, every 3 months I get it. I'm quite militant about it. So there was no way that I could have been pregnant. The next morning they've taken me to the early pregnancy unit and they've stuck the probe thing up my vajayjay, and the woman's like, no, if I stick this up any further, I'm gonna hurt the baby. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is this hospital on? She's like, you need to go get a scan. So I've gone upstairs now and lying down, sonographers put the jelly and scanning. Lo and behold, on this 32-inch TV right in front of me, there is this baby. I'm thinking to myself, nah, like this is a horrible dream. And she's like, yeah, you're about 26 weeks pregnant. I'm like, what? In my head I had to count because, you know, 26 weeks. 5-6 months, are you okay? So yeah, I couldn't believe. She was like, do you want to know where it is? I was like, I'll just write it down somewhere. So she wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I've gone back into the hospital bed and I've messaged my ex-boyfriend, like, he's the last person I slept with. I'm pregnant. Not only am I pregnant, I'm 6 months. He was over the moon because the time that we were together, he wanted to have a kid with me so bad, and I just never saw kids in my life. Well, not recently anyways. He was talking about getting a ring, this and that, and I was
like, Playboy.
Hold your horses. Just because this is going on doesn't mean that, you know, we're back together, or this, just because there's a baby doesn't mean that we're gonna be back together, let alone talking about an engagement ring. He was like, all right, well, whatever you want to do, we'll do. I'm not gonna lie, at that time I was researching, I was thinking about not having the baby, but I basically had 2 days to decide, and I prayed about it, and the overall decision was to keep the baby. So here I am now, I have to call my mother. Called her, told her to come round. She came round, standing at the end of the hospital bed. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing, sit down, sit down. She's like, what's wrong? You're scaring me. And I was like, sit down. She sits down now, and I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant. She's like, okay. And I was like, that's not the okay part. I'm 6 months pregnant. She said, Jesus. So she's like, all right, okay. In all things we thank God. I'm like, oh, here's the paper if it's a boy or girl, but don't tell me you read it. So she's opened it and she's smiling. She's like, okay. So she goes home now. My sister calls me. My sister's like, oh, mum's dancing, singing her praise and worship. Like, she's just so happy. And I told my sister why. I was like, I did not expect my mother to be that happy. Like, I was like, she's proper Christian Ghanaian woman. Yeah, like no sex before marriage, no babies out of wedlock, but she took it really well. Obviously at this time, like, I was still in shock, and my brother's wedding's on Saturday. So I've had to tell them that I'm really doing poorly. I won't be able to be bridesmaids. I'm so sorry, but I'm still coming. So
me and my mum had to go wedding dress shop, bridesmaid dress, guest shopping.
So that it could hide my belly. Because at this point now, they told me, and now my belly's popped out a little. To me, it was like, it still wasn't, it hadn't sunk in. Like, it wasn't, this wasn't happening. Like,
how could I be 6 months pregnant when I'm on contraception, and when I'm not even in a relationship with the person I'm having a child with?
And obviously I have to tell my work that I'm pregnant. I think when you're pregnant, you have to tell your work by like 20 something weeks or something, but I basically missed that time. So now they've had to look for someone to cover me. But I worked all the way up to my due date. Got 3 months until this baby comes. So I've got to sort out everything. I bought everything. I'm an advocate for online shopping. I do not care if it can be delivered to my house. Bring it. Unless it's next day delivery and I have to pay for it, that's a different thing. I could wait a couple of days, but free next day delivery, I don't care. Bring it.
I bought the cot online, the crib online, the bottles, everything I bought online got delivered. I did not leave my house.
December 13th, lo and behold, she's here. I see it as it was, she needed to be in my family because of the heartache that my family had been through. She was like the light at the end of a really, really dark tunnel. Brought this new joy into their lives, and it was a real high to end the worst year of my life. She is now 2. She's so annoying, but she's cute. Like, she's cute, but she's annoying, she's rude, like she's got a mouth on her. But like if you like it, like if you don't like it. Comment your thoughts if you've had similar experiences. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that when I post the next video, you'll be aware. So yeah, come with me on this journey, and I hope to see you in my next video.